Miss Dolly Parton was a staple, and Miss Dolly Parton was also a representation of the multifaceted women. These type of women, when they transition, it does cause a massive disruption in a way because people feel like they lost someone close to them. In addition to that, the reason why women who fit this archetype, the archetype of Dolly Parton, is important is because we are living in a society where finding women who represent femininity, power, and influence is increasingly becoming difficult. And of course, being able to be all those things while having grace, polish, and elegance is also becoming challenging to find. So I always like to make videos in particular about women like this because of how much of a mark they leave on the feminine, the divine feminine, and the massive contributions they've made to the world in addition to the contributions they've made to the divine feminine. Dolly Parton for sure gave just the ideologies of society a run for their money, and I'm going to tell you why. What makes Dolly Parton special is the archetype of woman that she falls under. So if you don't know who Miss Dolly is, her full name is Dolly Rebecca Parton, and she is an American singer, songwriter, actress, businesswoman, and philanthropist. In other words, Dolly Parton is a prototype. Dolly Parton is the woman that checks off multiple boxes, and in case you're new here, I am in full support and I am in full awe of women who move the needle. I don't believe that a woman is only allowed to be beautiful. I don't believe that a woman is only allowed to be smart. I believe that a woman can be multiple things at one time. And anybody who cannot mentally process that is limited and highly misogynistic. Now, when it comes to Dolly Parton, I want to give her her flowers. Dolly Parton is really the poster child for glam and glitz. Dolly Parton is the poster child, in my opinion, for elegance, grace, polish, influence, desire, femininity, power, structure, order, and professionalism. Rest in peace to Miss Dolly Parton. Unfortunately, she did transition on August 25th. I believe, according to what they've reported, she had a long ongoing battle, or a short-lived battle from what we know, with cancer. But she did leave her mark on the earth. And that is what an influential woman is born to do, to leave a mark on society, to leave a legacy, and to leave something massive that the masses will remember her by, and it's usually her positive contributions, okay? Now, the reason why Dolly Parton is definitely a massive case study is because this woman fits so many different archetypes. I don't want this video to be too long, but she fits many different archetypes. So I can only imagine how powerful her aura probably was because of the amount of archetypes that she fits. The more archetypes that a woman or a man fits, the more strong their essence and presence is. I do want to highlight that any woman who's a successful businesswoman or who becomes a successful businesswoman is a woman that can wear many hats. I hate to go there. Not every woman is built, created, and knitted together for entrepreneurship. You may be interested in entrepreneurship, you may like entrepreneurship, but it doesn't fit every woman or every man. You have to have very specific metrics about yourself, about your archetype, about how you work, about how your brain works to successfully make it as an entrepreneur. And I will discuss this in the Business Visions Masterclass on September 20th. I will go through all the tools, all the tips, all the tricks. If you want to be big online, if you want to grow online, if you want to make it in your industry, if you want to start out your own personal brand, this is not going to be a cookie cutter class. This is going to be a class that really hits the nitty gritty. So for a woman to reach Dolly Parton's level of success, that is a woman who is not a monolith, and that is a woman who checks off specific boxes that people may not believe she could check off because of how feminine presenting she is. A lot of times when people see beauty and femininity, it stops there. They don't believe that you can be anything more than a beauty. They don't believe that you can be anything more than a feminine woman. They just believe that you're only allowed to be that. And Dolly Parton is a perfect example of how false that entire ideology is. A woman can be feminine presenting, but she can still be in her bag though. A woman can be feminine presenting and she still has multiple different tools and tricks up her sleeves to create different lanes of generational wealth, progress, abundance, and power. And yes, any woman who's successful is a powerful woman because she has that leverage. And women can gather a thing or two from Dolly Parton, and so can men. What stood out to me is when Dolly Parton said she would sit down with tables of men and tell them, get over the boobs, get over the way I look, get over it. I have an ideal that can probably make us a whole lot of money, and I'd like to present that to you.
Of meetings, but I always just say, get past the boobs, get past the everything else, and just listen to what I got to say, because I think I can make us all a bunch of money. My line is, I'm a very professional Dolly Parton. I don't go into meetings trying to save the world or thinking I know anything about things I don't, because at least I'm smart enough to know what I know and what I don't know. But it's what I know that I make my living from.
The reason why I love the fact that she said that is because many times men and women, and men in particular in business, have a problem called the Madonna whore complex, where many men cannot look past a woman's breasts and lips and hair and curves and see that that woman is actually an intelligent woman that's about her business. It's hard for them to conceptualize that. So it's almost like you have to remind them, I am not here for the male gaze, no matter how attractive you think I am. That's not what I'm here for. I have an ideal and I'd like to present that ideal. And this is what makes Dolly Parton special. Dolly Parton is the type of archetype that is a mixture of the divine feminine and is a mixture of the dark feminine archetype as well, because of her confidence levels and because of her skill. Now, when it comes to women in business, right? When a woman is in business, she's going to have to prepare herself for people to underestimate her or only subjugate her to her beauty, right? Now, Dolly Parton was a beautiful woman, right? She was definitely a beautiful woman. The problem with beauty, right? This is where beauty kind of works against women in a way. When you're beautiful, people automatically feel like you're incapable. You're incapable of bright ideals. You're incapable of contributions. You're incapable. Like, people encounter a beautiful woman and they stop it there, or they go the other mile and they try to control the beautiful woman, which is what Barbara Walters and plenty of other people tried to do to Miss Dolly. They wanted Miss Dolly to feel like she was doing something wrong. And one thing that I've always loved about watching Dolly Parton is the way that she would handle these people's attacks with an ultimate level of grace, because people were so hyper focused on her appearance as opposed to being focused on the contributions that she's making in society, which shows that men and women cannot see past a woman's beauty and appearance and look deeper and dig deeper into what she's contributing. And it's very important to not allow any man or woman to only subjugate you as a woman to the way that you look, the way that you dress, and the color of your lipstick. And they have to understand that you're a businesswoman, you're in your bag, you're not playing, you're smart, and you are far beyond your hair, your nails, and your lashes. Take a look at this clip.
You don't have to look like this. You're very beautiful. You don't have to wear the blonde wigs. You don't have to wear the extreme clothes, right?
No, it's certainly a choice. I don't like to be like everybody else. I've often made this statement that I would never stoop so low as to be fashionable. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. So I just decided that I would do something that would at least get the attention. Once they got past the shock of the ridiculous way I looked and all that, then they would see there was parts of me to be appreciated. I'm very real where it counts, and that's inside, and as far as my outlook on life and the way I care about people and the way I care about myself and the things that I care about.
Beautiful response. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful response. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you handle someone who is trying to change how you present yourself and express yourself into what they're comfortable with, right? So a lot of times when you are a woman in business, right, it kind of puts you on a stage for more control, right? So we live in a society that is already obsessed with controlling women. When you're on a stage, or you own a business, or you own a brand, or you are a celebrity of some sort, it's going to be exacerbated, right? There's going to be an influx in the level of control, where even you'll see that a lot of these celebrities or stars, when they will sit with these people and get interviewed by them, a lot of time the interviewer is trying to change them. They even did this with Michael Jackson. Oh, well, why did you build Neverland? Oh, well, why do you wear your hair like that? Oh, well, why did you do your nose? It's like people are really inviting you to project onto you what they will be comfortable with, and as opposed to allowing you to spread your wings and be your ultimate self, right? Barbara Walters is a bully, okay? She's a mean woman. She's bullied Whitney Houston. She's just one of those women that cannot deal with confidence. She cannot deal with women who are expressive of themselves. Barbara Walters, I hate to go there, is what I believe represents the majority of the percentage of women. And that's women that cannot digest a woman dancing to the beat of her own drum. There are more Barbara Walters than there are Dolly Partons, by the way. Dolly Parton is also a representation of, in my opinion, confidence, an unwavering confidence. Many people like to tell Dolly Parton to, tone it down a bit, right? Because people never want women to be bigger than the program. They don't really like women being expressive. The minute a woman is expressing herself in a unique way, men and women feel like they need to give her instructions on the way that she's supposed to be presenting herself to the world. When in reality, a woman doesn't need instructions from you, a man or a woman, in how to flow and operate in her uniqueness, anointing, and gift. They don't need an instruction guide from you. And what I found extremely just admirable is how Dolly Parton did not allow any of the ways people felt to determine how she would present herself. She loved the big hair. She loves the big nails. She loves the sparkles. She loves the bright colors. She loves the bright eyeshadow, right? She loves the sequins. She loves the sparkles. She loves the silver. She loves the high heels. And if you didn't like it, well, then don't watch her. And I think that that is an amazing approach for all women and men to take as you're going through the world. I like to call it swagger. Everybody has their own swagger, and no one can tell you how to swag yourself out, whether you're a man or a woman. That's your expression. That's how you personally express yourself. And I think that Dolly Parton really understood the assignment as far as being a woman that did not allow men or women to tell her how to express herself. So a lot of times we like to equate femininity to being lazy, right? If you're new to my channel, if you're a woman or man that's new to my channel, this is a completely different vibe over here where the truth is always revealed. Femininity has nothing to do with being lazy. Femininity has nothing to do with being incapable. Femininity has nothing to do with not using your mind as a woman to create and develop streams of income. That is not femininity. That is laziness. Okay, I want to make that very, very clear. Okay, so Dolly Parton, of how feminine presenting she is and beautiful and sparkly, this woman, you guys, look at her major business ventures, okay? I'm going to name just a couple of them. I did grab them from Google. The first thing is the Dollywood theme park. She co-owned a theme park called Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And she was the owner of a lot of theme parks and resorts, okay? Oh, she has a water park as well, and a resort hotel. That's one stream of income. She also owned dinner theaters. That's a second stream of income that Dolly Parton also had. She held partial ownership in entertainment attractions like Dolly Parton Stampede and Pirates Voyage Dinner and Show through World Choice Investments. That's stream of income 2. Stream of income 3 that Dolly Parton had, music and production. She owned her massive music catalog, founded Opar Publishing Co., and co-founded Sand Dollar Productions, a film and television studio. That's stream of income number 3. Stream of income number 4, retail and consumer goods. She launched lines including Dolly Beauty, Dolly Wines, pet accessories via Dolly Parton, and various baking collaborations. That's one of the few. So Dolly Parton also represents being capable. That's why I said she also fits in that dark feminine archetype. Because the dark feminine archetype as well, that type of woman in particular, she's going to have her hand in many different things because she doesn't believe in society's limits placed on women, right? Now, a lot of times people ask me about dark feminine and light feminine, and they ask me, well, why do you talk about dark feminine a lot more than you talk about light feminine? I already explained the reason why on my Divine Feminine Masterclass. The dark feminine should be the gatekeeper to the light feminine, as I said before. The light feminine is there, it's useful, it's needed, it's prominent. However, without the dark feminine, if a woman is only operating in the light feminine, it's going to be a danger to her because it doesn't have that grit and it doesn't have that firmness and unwavering allegiance to mastery that the dark feminine has. So Dolly Parton is also a great example of that because I remember I saw this cute clip of Dolly. I'm like, oh my God, the glam is never stopping. Of her literally standing there. I believe she was like 80 years old in this clip. This was a couple months ago. She's standing there with her high heels on. She's in the middle of some crowd in a room. I don't know if it was like a business venture that she was doing or a business meeting. And she's telling them, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what we're doing. And I'm like, it's beautiful to watch that on a woman. And it's beautiful to see her operating in that more authoritarian, disciplinarian vibe, right? And I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. But let's just say, as much love as Dolly Parton is getting online, and she does deserve it, women who fit her archetype in your day-to-day, a lot of women and men are not going to be that warm towards you, by the way, right? Because people are very different offline than they are online. A woman that represents multiple things across the board can be a massive trigger to people, especially when you're extremely feminine, but you're extremely disciplined. That is hard for people's minds to wrap around. Look at this clip of Dolly in her heels, looking good, feeling good, and also operating with her internal disciplinarian. Take a look at this.
Since you've been here, but today is the last day for now. But I just want all of you to know again how much I love you and how much I appreciate you. I just think everybody in every department has just been spectacular. And I hope that all of you can feel the love that I have for you. I really do, because I truly do. And I know you're going out to the bar. And I'm not going to go to the bar, but not for the reasons you might think.
There you have it. And that's also a wonderful video to show the charisma and grace and wit and warmth and structure that a woman will also need to possess in order to run a solid business, in order to run a solid brand, and in order to keep her impact stabilized. Now, this is another twist that many women sometimes get confused when it comes to leadership. You being rude does not mean leadership. A woman has to have a level of poise, a level of grace, a level of polish in order to lead something successful. That's why another thing you'll notice about Dolly Parton is the amount of people, I came across a video about this online, the amount of people from the African American community riding for her. Because Dolly Parton was loved across the board because she showed her grace and charisma across the board to all nationalities and genders. And when they would try to bait her in these interviews to talk negative about specific subgroups, to talk negative about different nationalities, to talk negative, to say something negative, Dolly would always say, well, why don't we just all love each other? And why don't we all just operate in our gifts? And what I love about her as well, she was a believer. She was a believer in Christ. I absolutely love that. And I believe her father was a preacher, if I'm not mistaken. Her father or her grandfather was a Pentecostal preacher. And since she was a little girl, I believe she put out a video where she said a woman in her church told her, "You're very anointed. You are a very anointed woman and you're going to do big things." And obviously that woman spoke that prophecy into her life. And that's exactly what happened to Miss Dolly Parton. So another thing to look at as an example with Dolly is her level of grace, her level of elegance, and her level of polish. And again, study the greats. Who said this? Was it Michael that said, study the greats? And when you study the greats, you'll be able to become better at what you're doing with your business. And when it comes to women like Dolly Parton, she actually reminds me a lot of that woman that I always tell you guys stained my brain in the business world. The polish, the balance, the ability to handle a bunch of pressure, but you look hot while doing it. I think that's big, always having the heels on, right? I think that it kind of highlights that a woman can be in her femininity. She can be beautiful. She can be hot. She can be sexy, and she can still be smart, and she can still be about her business. And does it come with some challenges? Of course, when you're at that level, people want to humble you. Dolly is kind of an example of a matriarch archetype. A matriarch archetype is a woman that represents it all, right? So when you are that archetype, it can also be a challenge because of just depending on someone's level of evolution. How are they going to take you? How are they going to receive you? But Dolly Parton was pretty well loved because people could see that her goal was far beyond herself and her reach. It was all about uplifting souls. Now, I think it was last year, I went on live and I spoke about knowing when to change and knowing when not to change. Knowing when to change and knowing when not to change is very, very, very important to your brand and your business, right? Because certain people, their brand and their business stands out by way of something unique that they possess. This is why Dolly did not change. Catch what I'm saying here. This is also spiritual. What did I say? Knowing when to change, knowing when not to change. Dolly did not change the symbolism of what made her Dolly Parton brand. You got to catch what I'm saying because it's very important and it's also spiritual. This is why I say knowing when to change and knowing when not to change is spiritual, because there are times where you're supposed to change. There are times where you're not supposed to change. Take a look at these two cute videos I saw on TikTok before I go into Dolly Parton. When you think Dolly Parton, think pink.
Minute of my life. Oh, look. Oh no! Oh, that's driving. Oh, that gave me the chills. Everyone's screaming. What was this for again? Dolly Parton. I don't know who that is.
So, of course, they lit up the Empire State Building in pink and they lit up the bridge in pink because when you think about Dolly Parton, you think pink, right? You think pink, you think glam, you think sparkles, you think diamonds, you think jewels, you think sequins. Why would she change that? Thank God she didn't, right? A lot of times in life, people want us to change what symbolizes who we are. And I'm very against that. Knowing when to change, knowing when not to change is extremely important. It's not everything that people tell you to change and make adaptations to that you listen to, because you could be screwing up your brand by doing that. You could totally be messing up your brand and what represents you by making those adaptations, okay? So Dolly Parton was, liked animals and that cute picture of her with the kitty. And she's very into that Barbie type of thing. I always felt like she kind of looked like a Barbie to me with the hair. She had a very small waist. She kind of had that Barbie vibration to her in a way. And I could also tell how that could stand out for branding. And I could also tell how that could keep her feeling youthful. every time you watch a video of Dolly Parton, she's very youthful, right? She's very fun. She's very funny. She's always laughing, because even her brand and what symbolizes and represents her brand is also connected to her remaining youthful, right? Everything connects. Dolly Parton is a very feminine woman, but she's also a go-getter, right? Now, women like that have to be very careful when they're getting in romantic relationships, because men get insecure and they get dangerous towards women that trigger their ego. But Dolly Parton, fortunately enough, got married to her best friend and a man that allowed her to shine. Now, Dolly Parton's husband, you don't really see too many photographs of him, because Dolly Parton's husband was more of a homebody. He just wanted Dolly, right? He wanted the world to have, the Hollywood Dolly Parton. He didn't care about the Hollywood Dolly Parton. He just wanted his personal Dolly, his wife. The Dolly that people see when the curtains close and when the lights shut off, that's what he wanted. He never cared about the spotlight.
What does it give you, this marriage?
Well, it gives me everything that a person needs in a marriage or in a relationship. It gives me freedom, which is something I feel you must have being creative. But it also
then you don't have to
gives
get
me-
married if you want freedom.
Well, that's true, but this is a very special kind of sacred freedom. I'm there for him, he's there for me. If he needs me at any time, I would come, no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing, I would drop it, and the same with him. But it's somebody to plan with, somebody to grow old with, somebody to have fun with. We have a lot in common. We're good friends. I just know that there's not another person in this world that could give me all those things that I've grown.
You guys, I'm really starting to get tired of Barbara Walters. I'm serious. Like, every time I see a clip, it's like it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Like, ma'am, ma'am, just let people be happy. It's so strange. Anyways, Barbara Walters to the side. Let's go back to Dolly Parton, right? So Dolly Parton was blessed with love. She didn't have children. She was not able to have children. That is something that she did speak about, but she made peace with it. And she invested in so many children around the world through like different foundations and sending them books and all that stuff. So I guess she transmuted that limitation by still giving back to younger kids. But she had a beautiful marriage, from what she spoke on, a sacred marriage. And ladies, I speak about this all the time in classes when I tell women all the time, if you're an ambitious woman, dating just got a lot harder for you because of men's ego. In order for it to work, he has to be willing to let the woman shine. And that is the challenge that Dolly Parton, fortunately, did not have to face. Her feminine energy was not being sucked out of her because her husband allowed her to shine in the full version of herself. And ladies, if you don't find a man that's like that and you're in business as a woman, you're gonna probably have to stay single until you do. It's not worth the risk, okay? So Dolly's husband allowed Dolly to shine. He allowed Dolly to take up space. He wasn't jealous, and I think that that's so important, because when women fall into this archetype, men can't really comprehend a woman being more than one thing at a time, right? Men can't comprehend that. That's the problem with the way their minds are wired. It's either a woman is a feminine, sexy woman, or a woman is a intelligent, go-getter businesswoman who's not attractive. Men cannot see a woman as both, right? So when you're a woman who is like in a way, a Dolly Parton, you're not a monolith. You do more than one thing at a time, and you look good while doing it. You have to be with a man who does not mind letting you shine and letting you have the spotlight with it without his ego getting triggered and then him becoming dangerous. So another reason why Dolly Parton was able to flourish in such a beautiful way, and another reason why Dolly Parton was able to flourish like a beautiful flower, is because she had a man that was not sucking her feminine energy out of her. She had a man that was not beating her down, breaking her down, and making her and making her dislike herself. Because a lot of women, when they are this archetype of woman, I believe Dolly Parton is a mixture of the divine feminine woman, the dark feminine archetype, because she is a go-getter, and she doesn't allow women or men to make her feel insignificant, right? She has that power. She's also a curse breaker, so she may have a little bit of the chosen one archetype in there as well, because she's the first one in her family really to make it out and become very successful. And I know behind the scenes, there's a lot of spiritual battles that curse breakers have to endure in their family. So she's more than one archetype at a time. If you've taken my archetype class, you know what I'm talking about. Women like that cannot be with any type of man. Okay? They have to be with a very specific type of man so that they can finish their, what do you call that? They have to be with a specific type of man so that they can finish their mission, the whole reason why they were like born, right? So she had a man that allowed her to finish her mission without getting in the way. And understand, when I say this, a lot of men believe that they're the only ones with a mission. That's the problem. They think women are only side characters. That is not true. There are some women who are the main character in their bloodline, and they were born to break curses, and they were born to shine bright, and they were born to leave a staple on the earth, and they were born to leave a print on the earth, and they were born to change lives. Those roles do not only apply to men. World changers do not only significantly belong to men. Success does not only belong to men. Money does not only belong to men. Those are all highly misogynistic brainwaves of thinking, because it's ridiculous to even believe that progress only belongs to men. That is not true. But the sad part about society is men and women believe that. So women like Dolly can sometimes make people rethink all of their ideologies. And I think another thing that makes Dolly Parton really stand out is her love for helping people. It goes beyond the money. It goes beyond the glam and glitz. It goes beyond the big boobs. It also flows into taking care of the youth and giving back to society, which is something that Dolly Parton absolutely had no problem doing.
So think about that, rest in peace to Dolly Parton, but also think about that within yourself. What are you leaving? What mark are you leaving on the earth? How are you contributing to the people around you, to your family, to your industry? What mark are you leaving? What legacy are you leaving? It's never too late to create a legacy, or to jumpstart on your legacy, or to jumpstart on your calling. There are souls out there that need somebody like you. They do. So if you're a woman, study Dolly Parton if you want to, go through her life, assess her life, learn about her life, learn about how it's not about how you start, ladies and gentlemen. It's all in how you finish.
So you want to start a business, or you want to start your own social media platform. Business Visions is going to be a masterclass on September 20th, 2026, 7 p.m. EST, and I am going to share with you all of the tips, tricks, precautions, preventative measures, and quick tools that you should be having and using in order to get your business off the ground. I made the mistakes first, so guess what? You don't have to make them, because I'm going to share in this course all of the mistakes that I made in building my business, how I clean that up, and I'm going to be giving you the tools so that you don't have to make those mistakes and you can jump off that puddle. Parton Part 2, September 27th, 2026, 7 p.m. EST. This is for all of the men and women who are in corporate America and you are still trying to not just survive, but thrive. So in this Corporate Spartan Masterclass, I'm going to be going through the corporate dynamics that you need to know. Which company should you choose to work for? How can you tell if a management team is toxic? How can you tell if you have really been placed in an environment where you are going to thrive? How are you going to move like a Spartan in corporate setting? You do not want to miss this class. Feel free to sign up at yourlevelupguru.net.